Japanese are sort of pretty literal-minded, and the translation for shakuhachi is actually the length of the flute. A shaku is a unit of measurement, and hachi is 8 in Japanese, and it's each shaku, one shaku, hachi sun. And the length of this one is a traditional shakuhachi. Okay, 1/8. This one's slightly longer. It's sort of like an alto or tenor. But the instrument came down from China to Japan, and it was carried into the country by Buddhist monks who went to Japan to learn meditation techniques. Went to China to learn meditation techniques, and then when they came back, they brought the flutes with them because some sects of Buddhism in China were using flutes to do meditation. But eventually it branched out from the temples and moved into, the public sector, where it was incorporated into folk music, and then it was incorporated with court music together into what's now sort of Japanese chamber or classical music. So it's used in all those contexts, but it's still got a strong tradition in the Buddhist style. And the music reflects that. There's different kinds of music. There's sort of the Buddhist music, which is very meditative, and then there's the chamber music, which is more like Western chamber music. Okay. Hi.
Could you play something for us?
Oh, sure. Here. I'll make it hard on you. I'll sit down.
Now, this is actually the musical score that you're reading?
I'm reading this score right here. And it's written in Japanese notation, which is really just, the Japanese have 3 alphabets: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And kanji is used for concepts and nouns. Hiragana is used for verbs and sort of connecting words, and katakana is often used for foreign words, but it's also used for Japanese music, or at least shakuhachi music. So this is all written in katakana, and any of your Japanese speakers around here would see this and see, yeah, it's katakana, but it wouldn't make any sense to them because it's sort of like, it really represents sort of the finger holes. And there are little notations on the katakana which sort of indicate that you half hold the note and you tip your head a little bit to get the note in between. But basically that's it. Shakuhachi music is written this way, but the other Japanese traditional instruments like koto and shamisen, they have their own music. I find that really fascinating because in Western music, everybody uses the same notation. If I play a clarinet or if I play, a horn, I read the same music. But in Japan, at least amongst the classical traditional players, shakuhachis read this kind of music, kotos read another kind of music that looks completely different, and shamisen, the sort of banjo, Japanese banjo, they use a third type of music. So it's really weird. I can't read their notation, they can't read mine.
How did you get involved in playing this instrument?
I got involved because I just heard it. I heard it on a record, and actually the record that I heard was it was a modern piece by a composer named Toru Takemitsu, and I was listening to another piece on the same album, and the piece is called November Steps, and it incorporates a modern orchestra. He's a 20th century composer, he's dead now, but incorporates a modern orchestra and a biwa, which is a Japanese lute, and a shakuhachi. And I heard this strange instrument on the recording, and I just fell in love with it. But it took me years to find one. I didn't know what it was, first of all, and then later on we stumbled across it, a shakuhachi, sort of a cheap one, and I picked up one and started playing myself and eventually found a teacher. I come from around Chicago, and there aren't any many teachers in and about Chicago. I did finally find one, however.
How did you learn to read the Japanese notes?
Basically, just from playing the shakuhachi. I mean, you know, the first thing you do is get a sound out of it, and then after you get a sound out of it, you learn the fingering, and the notes are connected to, you know, which holes you close and open. So you just learn it that way, and it's not. Once you get the sound, it's not too hard. Getting the sound out of the flute is a little more difficult. You could try one.
Great.
Don't close any holes. Don't try to even do that. There's a hole in the back, by the way, and then there's 4 holes up in front.
All right.
So, do you play flute at all, or
I play clarinet.
clarinet? That's a little different. Try to. You basically balance the flute on the little curve in the bottom of your chin, and you don't blow into the flute. You blow across it like a bottle. And you aim your wind sort of at that knife edge. Perfect.
Yay!
That's really hard to do. I mean, it's hard to do for beginners because it's just too much variation. It's not like a Western flute. Western flutes have a lot of variation as well, but there's sort of one way to do it. Whereas in the shakuhachi, it's got a lot of variation. You can hold it in all sorts of different ways. And sometimes that's actually an advantage to the flute because you could bend notes. Nah, I lost it. So you get a different pitch by doing that. And you can even, this is my standard flute. This is a low, soft flute. You get vibrato by moving your head back and forth. In a Western flute, you get vibrato from your diaphragm. You know, you use your breath. But in a clarinet, you use your embouchure. You use your jaw. But traditionally in shakuhachi, you use your head side to side.